everybody. I am here with
Taylor Beacom of Light
on
YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, Instagram, all that.
So I talked a bit before about wanting to encourage more independent journalism and try and highlight many of these people, and you're one of them.
Yeah, man.
So what's your channel's Beacom of Light?
Beacom of Light on YouTube. I definitely want to. The tagline is fighting hyperbole and hypocrisy, and I think that's something that Tim does.
I guess.
Is admirable.
Right.
Yeah.
So. I think for you it's just kind of convenient because you're in the New York area. We bumped into each other a couple times, and so I was like, yeah, let's just do a video, and then we can get more people to check out your stuff, and then we can start building up this culture. But you know what the point is? I'm not just here to talk about doing independent journalism. I'm here to rant about an issue that's really bothering me. As many of you may know, Eric Clanton, he's the bike lock basher, the guy in Berkeley who was whacking people over there with a bike lock. He was arrested, charged with several felonies. It's like aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or something. I'm not 100% sure, but being not 100% sure is part of the reason why I'm doing this video. When I started searching for more information about Eric Clanton, the only people who were writing about it nationally were conservative websites. The local affiliates in the Bay Area did talk about it, and none of the larger mainstream sites like BuzzFeed, Vox, maybe they did, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find anything from like the New York Times, the Washington Post. You would think that a guy that was nearly killing people at a protest would be big news, right? So here's what we know, or here's what I know so far. This guy was being investigated by homicide detectives because the attacks that he was doing were so egregious. He was bashing people with a bike lock over the head that they were actually investigated as attempted murder. Like, do you know anything about this stuff at all? Did you look into Eric Clanton?
Yeah, I first heard about BAM, By Any Means Necessary, from Durst the Worst.
But is that guy in BAM?
He's affiliated. Yeah,
really?
Yvette Falarka, another professor, was beating up on some guy, and their slogan is By Any Means Necessary, BAM, B-A-M-N.
Yeah.
So we're wondering what sort of lengths these people will go to accomplish
well, they'll go to any lengths,
yeah.
But I guess we can talk all day about Antifa being violent, and my biggest concern isn't, I don't want to just talk about the fact that you know what? I've made too many videos. We know Antifa is violent. The issue is, why aren't the bigger media outlets, the digital media outlets, the national news outlets, writing this up? And I'll say this: maybe they did. I just had trouble finding it, and that might be the issue as well, that it's not as obvious as it is with the conservative sites. But then we hear about this guy in Portland. So you heard about this guy in Portland, right?
Yeah.
They're saying he's like a white supremacist, and he stabbed some people. They're calling it, he was yelling hate speech, and these guys jumped to his defense. But when you actually look into the story, it's significantly more complicated than that. Did you read anything about it at all?
I did. I think one thing that the left-wing media is neglecting to do is make light of the two men who stepped in to try and stop this guy from going on a rampage, and apparently he was attacking people on the subway. So we definitely need to prop those guys up as heroes. That's for sure.
Well, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I think that's actually part of the problem. While these guys, I think it's great these guys stepped up. Apparently this Portland guy was harassing some Muslim women. These two guys stepped up. They got into a fight and they got stabbed and they died. If you get stabbed and killed, I kind of wonder where the stabbing took place. Obviously, it was like body shots. I don't want to get too much into that. But the issue is, this guy in Portland, his story is significantly more complicated than what we're hearing in the media. BuzzFeed actually had a pretty decent article. But a lot of these sites are saying he's like a white nationalist, racist, because there was one event where they filmed him doing the Roman salute, which is the Nazi salute, and they had and he was yelling racial slurs. Some people have dug into his Facebook profile. I actually looked at his Facebook profile. It's public. This I haven't confirmed, but apparently there's comments from him saying that he's going to go false flag the racists, that his goal was to pretend to be a Trump supporter. What I can't confirm that. I've seen the posts, but I don't know if they're actually from his page because I didn't see them on his page. But what I did see on his page were things saying like, I will kill every Trump and Hillary supporter, flat out saying like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill these people, saying things like Bernie, like he's totally 100% for Bernie, posting that Trump is the Antichrist. And then he also posted that he refused to vote for Trump. He's posted anti-racist memes. He actually has a comment, this I verified, where he said, I will punch someone in the face if they call me a racist. But he also said it would be hard to argue that he's not a white nationalist because he does believe that something about like the balkanization of whites to be able to like claim some land or something. The point is, this dude is anti-Hillary, anti-Trump, pro-Bernie, anti-racist, but a white nationalist. The narrative is not just that he's like a white supremacist. And the big issue for me is that this isn't being reported. This is not what's being reported in the bigger news outlets.
Yeah. It goes to show the sort of binary thought process of a lot of the media and what fits the narrative. So if this guy's walking around with an American flag, he's immediately a Trump supporter.
Yep.
And there is no nuance. There's very little sophistication within the mainstream media, and that's one thing that obviously you and I try and expose. Do we know anything about the mental health of this guy or his background?
Well, I'll say this. Look, somebody started. Someone like right now they're yelling at me on Facebook saying like, "How dare you armchair diagnose this guy?" Because I said he's clearly mentally ill. Look, if you're gonna go online and post repeatedly how you're going to murder people who disagree with you, I gotta say that deviates from what we consider to be socially acceptable in terms of like mental acuity or function,
yeah,
right?
There needs to be some watch.
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah.
I cannot diagnose him with a mental health issue. Yeah. But in my opinion, he has a mental health issue because he has repeatedly said he wants to kill people for disagreeing with him.
Yeah.
That he wants to, and you know what people did is they look at some of his earlier posts where he said something about if Trump is actually Hitler, I'm going to join the SS and go kill people. And what people don't realize is that post, you have to follow the context. It's not him being like, I love Trump. It's him repeatedly posting about how he thinks we're totally screwed, Trump is terrible, and now he's like, fuck it, I just want to kill everybody. Like, the dude's clearly like out of his gourd.
Yeah, yet the mainstream media decides purposefully
that he's a white nationalist Trump
disregard
supporter.
That, exactly.
And then what ends up happening is you get people on the right, on the far right. We've seen like 4chan posts where they're like cheering for him, like, yeah, he defended free speech, and exactly like, no, violence, like this guy's off the rails.
Yeah.
But then the left is immediately like, he's a white supremacist, period. And the reality is the dude is just, he doesn't fit any of the binaries. He's like a libertarian, anti-Zionist, anti-racist, white nationalist. Like none of those things are like it's not cohesive.
Yeah, he seemed just sort of like a nihilist or something.
But that's he was running around screaming, "I'm a nihilist."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, so here's where it all comes together. The point of this video, it's not just to rant about these two news issues that I don't think were covered well enough, but to point out that I don't think it's being covered well enough. That's why I have a website. It's called subverse.net, and my brother put it together, and then I started working with him on it a few months ago. And we had a bunch of viral articles, actually. A lot of it was just kind of trivia and interesting facts, science. Then we started working with Cassandra Fairbanks, who is, she writes now for Big League Politics. She was with Sputnik, and she was writing a lot of articles. But for whatever reason, it was just really hard to, I mean, I'll say this, I'm not the kind of person who's gonna be an administrator for a news website. But now, I'm getting inundated with emails from people who want to do news. I was talking with Taylor the other day, and we kind of just decided maybe we should just pick up the slack back on Subverse and create a place where people can come. We can sort of aggregate content, videos. So here's what I'm thinking right now. I want all of you who are doing journalism, who want to do journalism, just make your own YouTube channel. Yeah, I don't want to. Subverse, this website is not going to be anyone's boss. Like, I don't want to be anyone's boss. But it can be a place where we sort of promote good journalism from individuals. So one of the biggest challenges in doing journalism is starting up a channel, getting a following, and getting the snowball rolling down the hill. So I figured maybe we create this site that will essentially operate as kind of like an aggregator. It'll be kind of like a hybrid between like a regular news website and an aggregator that's kind of like Drudge or Reddit. But the idea is you make videos, and then we will schedule people's videos for certain days for posts on the website. That way, the average person, it's going to be really difficult for them to go and navigate hundreds of YouTube channels. But if they come to Subverse, they're going to see your video post with like a little article written. And so, what we need is people who want to be involved. I know a lot of you have emailed me already, but here's what I'm going to say. We have an email set up. It's subversestaff@gmail.com. And you can send whatever info you want. We're going to do two things. We're going to create a spreadsheet, a database showing where people are in the world. So let's say breaking news happens in Oklahoma. we can go to the list and be like, whoa, you know, Sally and John live in Oklahoma. Let's hit them up and see if they want to, you know, do something for us. We can do that all over the world with anybody who's interested in being involved. Then, for people who have started the process of becoming independent journalists, making YouTube channels, doing talk shows, we will do our best to schedule a certain amount of these channels on Subverse as posts, so maybe 3 videos per day. Obviously, we can't schedule every single person who submits content because then it would just be a huge mess. So it's like I said, it's going to be like kind of like a hybrid where there will be some editorial choices made, but we will focus on trying to showcase as many independent journalists as possible. Focus on people who are going to big breaking news stories and getting those big breaking stories faster and better than any other outlet in the world. And I guess the last thing I have to say is, you know, ultimately, there's not really going to be a big difference between what we do and what any other news outlet does. The simple difference is, do you trust me? Do you trust this guy and the people that I work with? If you do, then you're going to see a news outlet that, again, not too dissimilar from the digital media sites we already have, except that it's going to be coming from a community of kind of like skeptic rationalists who don't really care which political faction is right. And that means that, at least as far as I'm concerned, we can do a better job of covering stories that are kind of left in the dust by the left or the right. You know, oftentimes there are stories the left will write about, the right doesn't, or the right will write about, the left doesn't, and hopefully we can just talk about issues that are important. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that. I mean, it's like a daunting task. We'll see what happens, but...
Yeah. Well, essentially, the polls show that people don't trust the mainstream media anymore, but can we trust the polls? So
no, we can't.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't.
So we want to. What I want to do is bring to light that there are independent journalists like ourselves that want to give power to the people and not the corporations and the bureaucrats that are essentially controlling everything to fit a narrative, i.e. some of the stories we were just talking about, the guy in Portland who stabbed those people on the train. So yeah, we want to give power to the people. We want people from all over the world to submit what they can. We want to fight hyperbole and hypocrisy, and we want to bring a sort of rational logic to mainstream, or at least to the alternative media sources.
To everybody.
Exactly.
It shouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's weird to me that everyone's like this, there's like an alternative culture, be it, you know, the alt-right, for whatever people want to define that as, but there's this like internet culture that includes a lot of fringe left-leaning people who don't trust the media.
Yeah.
There was a protest where someone yelled to a bunch of anarchists, "Is the mainstream media propaganda?" And they're like, "Yes." Actually, it was in LA. I was there. This woman was with a cart, and she was like, "The mainstream media is propaganda," and they all cheered for her. I'm like, both sides agree that the media is trash.
Yeah.
So here's the kicker. You know why this is going to work, and why this is going to work? Because we have no money, right? There's no sponsors. There's no corporate interests. There's, you know, Budweiser's, well, I shouldn't call it any brands. Forget that I said that word. A brand is going to come to us and say, hey, we don't want this story done because, you know, X, Y, and Z, because we don't have them.
Yeah.
And you know, personally, it's not my intention to ever have them. The goal of Subverse is to just aggregate content, and it's gonna take some blood, sweat, and tears. You know, we're gonna sacrifice a little bit to make this stuff happen, but hopefully it'll build up to a platform that allows for individuals to get donations. You know, Patreon is a huge part of this. There is ad revenue on YouTube, and we have to be conscious about that. Subverse it does run ads right now, but there's no like direct advertiser who's going to come to us. And honestly, if they came to us and pulled them out and said we don't want ads on your site anymore, I wouldn't care. So the last thing I'll say: subversestaff@gmail.com. Email your information, what you want to do, what you're currently doing, and we will put together this list. Big breaking news story happens anywhere in the world and you're in that city, we will come to you for the live stream. We will send you, we've got a YouTube account for Subverse, we've got a Twitter account, a Periscope, and so we'll figure out how to make it work. But ultimately, I want to make sure that Subverse showcases your social media, your platform. This is kind of the opposite of what a lot of the digital media companies do. They try and showcase their own platform. No. If you're doing a live stream, we want to put your live stream up on our site so people come to you to follow you. And then hopefully if we do that with enough people, we will build a huge community and a culture of independent journalism. And that's the goal of all of this.
Yeah.
Final thought?
You said it. You said it well.
All right.
We want to promote critical thinking. We want to promote logic and reason. I want to promote dialogue and dissent and actual conversations where we can sort of come to an intellectual bedrock, or at least try our best to find it. And that's what.
Just be honest. Like,
exactly.
Here's what happened. I guess whatever that means, whatever it means to you.
Yeah, exactly.
So this just came about because basically Taylor is, you were in New York and we met up at an event and he was like, let's do this, and I said, all right. Here you go. Like, let's make it happen, and
yeah.
There we go. So.
We'll definitely, obviously, keep following Tim Pool. He's doing some amazing stuff, and I admire him for that.
And you don't have a Twitter, do you?
No Twitter yet.
Why? You gotta get a Twitter. What are
I'll
you doing?
be promoting that soon.
But you're a Beacom.
Beacom. It's a play on words. Yep. Instead of it's BEACOM. M as in Mary of Light on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Definitely check it out. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to work with Tim, and we're gonna bring you some really amazing stuff.
And your videos will pop up on Subverse.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
expect some content coming out very soon.
So the website is subverse.net, and we're going to be revamping and kicking things back up. Other than that, comment below and let me know what you think. Any suggestions? Send an email to subversestaff@gmail.com with whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, however you want to help. That would be fantastic to get you involved. Click the like button if you like this video, and let me know what you think. I just said that. I sometimes repeat myself when I do this.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's Groundhog's Day.
Subscribe for new videos. And here's the thing. I accidentally uploaded my video at 4 yesterday, at 4 p.m. instead of 6, because I just wasn't paying attention. And it actually did a lot better. And I think, normally I do my videos at 6 p.m., but I'm going to try 4 p.m. for a little bit. So just wanted to make sure you all knew that. And I guess here we are. So hopefully you all get involved, and then let's say in a year or two, we will have the biggest network of independent journalists. We will shut down the mainstream media. They'll come to us begging for access to our network. Or no, I mean, they have their place. They can keep doing their thing. We'll do our thing. We'll just do it better.
Yeah.
All right? I'll see y'all tomorrow.